Nigerian president has read the riot act to purveyors of hate species. The Zambia government has banned the export of all species of timber, not just of mukola trees. French president said the door for Britain to remain a member of the EU is still open, despite Britain's decision to leave. And on spot, the public prosecutor office in Madrid on Tuesday accused Real Madrid football star of tax fraud of 14.7 million euros. Good day and welcome to African Broadcasting Network News. I am Ogale Mafuru. Now the news in details. The acting president Yemi Osinbajo has read the riot act to purveyors of hate species, saying they won't be allowed to destabilize the country. The acting president said this in a meeting with some members of the Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, and the Northern Elders Forum, NEF. He said the federal government will ensure the country's unity, adding that nobody will be allowed to get away with seditious species. Osinbajo said those pushing for disintegration by ordering all the Nigerians in their domain to quit will face the law, adding that the government would not fold its arms and allow peace and order to be disrupted in any part of the country. The acting president was supported by the Senate President Bukola Saraki, House of Representatives Speaker Yakubu Dogara, and Chief of Defense Staff General Gabriel Olanyi-Shinkin. It was the first in the series of meetings with leaders of the six geopolitical zones over the brewing discontent between the North and the Southeast. The Newspaper Proprietor Association of Nigeria, NPAN, and the Nigerian Guild of Editors, NGE, and the International Press Center, IPC, Lagos, Nigeria, have condemned the invasion of the premises of the Sun Publishing Limited by heavily armed operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, in the early hours of Monday. In a separate statement, NPAN, NGE, and IPC said they received the news of the invasion with grave concern. Both statements said, the EFCC operatives subsequently prevented journalists and staff from performing their constitutional duties and abridging their rights to free speech by preventing those who were in the premises from leaving and others reporting for duties from entering the premises. Both statements note that the latest affront on the Sun by operatives of the EFCC is targeting attempts by a section of the nation's security agency to gag free press. The statement calls on the Commission to purge itself of all anti-democratic tendencies in order to foster mutual cooperation with the media and other stakeholders in its crusade against graft. And now on business. The National Bureau of Statistics on Tuesday released the total revenue generated by the country through value-added tax in the first 3 months of the year, which received dropping from 207.35 billion naira in the fourth quarter of 2016 to 204.77 billion naira in the first quarter of 2017. The NBS stated in the report that the manufacturing sector generated the highest amount of VAT with 28.73 billion naira, adding that this was followed by professional services and commercial trading with 20.82 billion naira and 12.89 billion naira respectively. On the other hand, the report stated that the mining sector recorded the least VAT collection of 35.7 million naira. Sectional distribution of VAT data for first quarter 2017 reflected the sum of 204.77 billion naira was generated as VAT in first quarter of 2017 as against 207.35 billion naira generated in the fourth quarter of 2016 and 186.43 billion naira in the first quarter of 2016, representing 1.25% decrease quarter on quarter and 9.84% increase year on year, the report read in part. The report stated that out of the total VAT generated in the first quarter, 126.64 billion naira came in as non-import VAT locally, while 31.72 billion naira was generated as non-import VAT from the foreign sources. The balance of 46.41 billion naira, the report added, was generated as Nigeria Customs Service import VAT. The Zambia government has banned the export of all species of timber, not just of Mukula trees. Minister of Land and Natural Resources Jean Kapata says the ministry will allow concession holders to continue operating to supply timber to the local industry, adding that the ban was aimed at empowering local people in timber processing and ensuring sustainable operations of the timber industry. Speaking on the status of forestry operation, Kampata also disclosed that currently there are 272 trucks licensed to transport logs which have documentations to transit Zambia territory, and the trucks will be released immediately and allowed to proceed to their respective destinations. However, she added that 194 trucks found carrying logs which are not supported with legal documentations will be dealt with on a case-by-case. The minister said measures which were put in place to curb illegal harvesting, transportation and trade in timber between February and May 2017 had yielded positive results. And that's it on business news for today. Let's join Okemute for some news around other African countries.
Thanks, Ugali. The Zambia's parliament suspended 48 opposition lawmakers on Tuesday for boycotting a speech by the president, widening a political rift that has alarmed a rights group. Parliament Speaker barred the United Party for National Development (UPND) politicians from taking their seats for 30 days, a move that banned them from the building and stopped their pay. Their party, which was defeated in August elections that it said were rigged, called the suspensions unconstitutional. The lawmakers boycotted President Edgar Lungu's address at the official opening of the assembly in March, saying they did not recognize him as the leader. A month later, the UPND's leader, Alkande Chilima, and 5 others were arrested and charged with treason after a column of opposition vehicles failed to make way for Lungu's motorcade. Amnesty International says the treason charges are trumped up and called for the politicians' release. The suspension affected 48 of the party's 58 MPs. The remaining 10 had officially excused themselves from attending parliament on the day of Lungu's speech and were not included in the suspension. The 3-day National Elections Conference closes today with high-level discussions on electoral integrity, security, role of the media, and how technology will be used in the August 8 polls. Today, the conference will start with a discussion on fostering electoral integrity and mitigating electoral fraud, a panel discussion that will be moderated by Njonjo Mu, the chairperson of the Africa Center for Open Governance. The panel will start with a brief overview by EACC Chief Executive Aleke Waku, with the section's objective being to examine measures put in place to ensure electoral integrity. The panelists in the discussion are Director of Public Prosecutors Kariko Tabiko, National Cohesion and Integration Commission Chairman Francis Ole Caparo, Mr. Waku, and IEBC Commissioner Margaret Wanchandval. Others are Ms. Regina Upondo of the Elections Observation Group, Dr. Luis Francisco, Dean, School of Law at Strathmore University, and Bishop Philip Anyandu, the chairman of the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops. The conference at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, KICC, has brought together the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, and various civil society groups who seek to audit Kenyans' preparedness to hold what has been viewed as Kenyans' most competitive pool. There are 54 days remaining before Kenyans go to the polls. We'll go on a short break. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. After talks with British Prime Minister Theresa May in Paris on Tuesday, French President Emmanuel Macron said the door for Britain to remain a member of the EU would remain open despite Britain's decision to leave the European Union if they want to remain a member of the bloc. Macron also wished the Brexit talks could start as soon as possible. The United Kingdom last year held a referendum in which Britons voted by a 52 to 48% margin to leave the EU, the first member state ever to do so. The procedure for the separation laid out in Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty has not yet started, but May vowed once again in Paris to start the withdrawal talks with Brussels as scheduled next week. Article 50 allows for 2 years of talks to decide an EU member state separation terms. However, British delegation in Brussels failed on Monday to reach an agreement with the European Commission chief negotiator Michael Barnier on state date for talks. May is currently under pressure to resign over a Conservative Party's failure in the election, which was held last week. Our party fell short of the 326 seats needed for outright majority, and the Premier is now trying to form a coalition to get more than the 326 seats threshold needed to pass legislation in Parliament. Nearly 200 Democratic lawmakers have sued U.S. President Donald Trump over payment he has accepted from more than 20 foreign governments since January. At least 30 senators and 166 representatives filed the complaint on Wednesday, saying Trump accepted the funds through his business without congressional consent, which is a violation of the U.S. Constitution. Senator Richard Blumenthal says Trump has repeatedly and flagrantly violated the Constitution. Emolument clause which stated that a president cannot accept benefits of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state unless having the consent of the Congress. The House Judiciary Committee's top-ranking Democrat, Michigan Rep. John Conrad, says that the lawsuit will have the largest number of congressional plaintiffs of any lawsuit lodged against the president so far in U.S. history. The White House has not yet responded to requests for comment, but did say that Trump's business interests do not violate the U.S. Constitution. The Trump Organization has said profits from customers representing foreign governments will be donated to the U.S. Treasury Department, but added it would not require such customers to identify themselves. In recent months, similar lawsuits have been filed by parties including a non-profit ethics group, a restaurant trade group, and the Attorneys General of Maryland and the District of Columbia against Trump. That's it on World News. Let's join Anna for some sports stories.
Thanks, Okemote, and on Sport News. The public prosecutor office in Madrid on Tuesday accused Real Madrid football star Cristiano Ronaldo of tax fraud totaling 14.7 million euros. Ronaldo is accused of 4 crimes against the public treasury between 2011 and 2014, which involves tax fraud of 14,768,897 euros, the public prosecutor said in a statement. According to the prosecutor office, Ronaldo is said to have taken advantage of a company structure created in 2010 to hide income generated in Spain from his image rights from tax authority in a voluntary and conscious breach of fiscal obligation in Spain. The 32-year-old is the latest in the line of footballers to have problems with Spanish tax authorities, with Lionel Messi, the highest profile player, to be affected. The Barcelona star was sentenced to 21 months in jail after being found guilty of avoiding taxes on 4.16 million euros of image right during the period 2007 to 2009. Ronaldo is accused of defrauding over 3 times more money than Messi. Other players to be accused of tax fraud include Fabio, Control, Falcao, and Pepe, all of share the same agent Jude Mendes as Ronaldo. The Bulls have faced challenging circumstances as Liberty has stepped into the role of interim head coach as the club awaits Vevey. Due to the club's reformation in late January, the Bradford Bulls 2017 Limited had to apply for a border license before the visa could be processed. Vevey boasts an extremely impressive rugby league past, featuring almost 300 ARL and NRL games, as well as representing NSW and Australia. He went to the coach Manly Sea Eagles for 4 years, finishing in the top 4 3 times and taking them to a grand final. Co-owner Andrew Chalmers said he thinks that it is a big milestone because of the difficulties and steps that they have to go through and comply with all of the requirements with the border agency. One of the Jamaica's 2014 Commonwealth Games 400-meter hurdles champions, Khalesi Spencer, was on Tuesday cleared of an anti-doping rule violation by an independent disciplinary panel. The decision means Spencer, who faced a 4-year ban on charges that she refused or evaded a drug test on April 27, 2016 at her training base, can resume competing immediately. The panel decided that the Jamaican Anti-Doping Commission, who brought the charges, could not prove the 30-year-old Spencer had been properly notified under the World Anti-Doping Agency rules that she was required for testing. Confirmation of the ruling came from the Anthony Kent Gammon, who chaired the 3-member anti-doping panel which conducted a 2-day hearing in May at the Jamaican Conference Center. The decision means the 2009 World Championship mile relay silver medalists can compete in the National Senior Championship June 22nd to 25th, which will be used to select the Caribbean island team for August 4th to 13th World in London. Spencer, who was represented by American Paul Green, had denied the charges. That's it in our sport news. Let's join Ogali for the top stories.
And with that sport news, we've come to the end of today's bulletin. But before we go, a quick look at the stories that made the headlines. Nigerian president has read the riot art to purveyors of hate species. The Zambia government has banned the export of all species of timber, not just of mukola trees. French president said the door for Britain to remain a member of the EU is still open despite Britain's decision to leave. And on sport, Public Prosecutor's Office in Madrid on Tuesday accused Real Madrid football star of tax fraud of 14.7 million euros. Thanks for watching. You can follow us on our social media platform by visiting our website www.abnchannel.net. Follow us on Twitter at ABN Channel, like us on Facebook at ABN TV, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at African Broadcasting Network. Thanks for watching.